I'm going to talk about the film X-ray processor. It was first invented in 1942, and they invented it to be not only conventional, but also to have consistent X-ray images. It was a lot better for a patient to be able to wait 40 minutes for an X-ray instead of having to wait 24 hours for the X-ray to be developed. The processor is also a lot more consistent than hand developing because the machine allows the film to be in each bin for a certain amount of time, making all the pictures consistently developed. The first processor was 10 feet long and weighed 3/4 of a ton. It also cost $33,000 back in 1942, which is about equivalent to $150,000 today. Today's processors are about 4 feet in width. They weigh about 40 pounds, and you can find one starting at about $3,500. What does an X-ray processor do? It turns what we like to call a latent image into a manifest or visible image. When the X-ray photons come down, they will go through your body part, and then they are captured on a cassette, and inside of that cassette is a film. So those photons come down and they're trapped in the film. The film is then put through the processor, and that is what brings the image from a latent image to a manifest or visible image that we get to see. A lot of places don't use film processors anymore. Most of the places are digital now. They take, an instant X-ray, instant picture. Stanley is one of the few places I know yet that still does do film work there. Some of the physical characteristics of a processor, they're about 2 feet by 4 feet, square. They come in different colors, such as white, off-white, black, gray, nothing extravagant. They're relatively small, relatively light compared to what they used to be, and it just looks like an oversized printer. They have a hard plastic shell on the outside, and the mechanisms are all inside, and you're not able to see those. The different parts of the processor, you start with the feed tray, which is a tray that you stick the film in. The tray then goes through what is called an entrance roller. And the entrance roller, once it goes through that, it triggers what they call the replenishment system. The replenishment system keeps the chemicals freshly aerated and filled so that the films are all consistently developed. That is the biggest part of, having the film processor, that you're doing everything consistently. So the film then goes through the entrance roller, and then it goes down through other rollers into the development tank. And then once it hits the bottom of the development tank, they have what's called a guide shoe that guides the film back up, and it comes back up. And then it has a crossover rack, which rolls it down to the next tank, which would be the fixing tank. And then it goes down through the fixing tank, back up, via the crossover rack, down to the wash tank, back up, via the crossover rack, and then down through the dryer and out the receiving tray. Each of the tanks, the developer, the fixer, and the washer do something different. When the film is coming through the developer tank, the photons that are trapped in that X-ray film are getting electrons sent to them through the chemicals that are in the developer tank. And that makes the image form. Once it then comes through to the fixer tank, the fixer stops any electron transformation or any chemical reactions going on. If the fixing tank didn't stop those chemical reactions, the X-ray film would become really dark and you wouldn't be able to see an image on it at all. And then it goes through the wash tank, which is pretty self-explanatory. Just purified water washes the film off in the dryer tank. And that, self-explanatory again, pretty much dries the film. And once it's dried, it can be stored for archival purposes or things of that nature. And looking at the significance of having a processor, we look at just the consistency you can have in an image by not having something hand developed and you have 5-10 different people that all develop differently. You're getting all this inconsistency in your images. That is very important for doctors to be able to properly diagnose something, is just to have consistency in all their imaging. And it's also just really convenient that the patient, instead of having to wait 24 hours, can just wait 40 minutes and have an x-ray. And now today's processors, they have 10-second processors where you only have to wait 10 minutes, or even digital where you have instant gratification and instantly get a picture. So I really think that technology has come a long ways from 1942, and I hope it continues to progress. Thank you.